Hey, this is Yarrow, and welcome to another episode of the Yarrow podcast. Once again, doing a micro episode, just dropping some live in the field. I'm just running my business basically. So I'm telling you stuff as it's happening in my business. And if it leads to an insight or a breakthrough or even just a tidbit, a tip that I want to share with you, I open my phone, I hit record, and I just publish it for you guys to listen to. And this for me is one of the best ways to just share with you what's working, what's not working. So today, really interesting. This is something I would not have learned without having a business or several for many, many years because you don't really get to experience this from day one or even year one with a business. It really starts to happen as you build a larger customer base and enough time passes. So what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about the value of repeat customers, and I don't mean simply subscription-based products where people are paying like a monthly fee. That's obviously very valuable, but it's not the topic for today, but I certainly recommend selling subscription products always. No, the topic today is this idea that certain types of customers will maybe sign up and buy your product, and then maybe they'll cancel, maybe they'll use it, but then, not really fully make use of it, especially when it comes to like a course or education. They might buy it, but not complete the course. Or something like that. Or with the services business like I'm running now, I have a services agency. They sign up for services, they use you for a few months, and it's just not quite fitting right. And they think there might be another way to get this problem solved, so they cancel and, off they go. I've noticed often what will happen if you have, and this is a very, very important point, if you run a business where you are focusing on being very good at something specific. So I've always, in my mind, with my businesses, I've never built something where I could get away with being a generalist. I've always had to specialize and make sure that what we're doing for something very specific is the best, or at least one of the best ways to solve this problem. Now, that's great because you can have confidence in what you sell. For example, with my education business, I was selling how to make money with a blog and an email newsletter and basic content marketing. But I was very much angling around you're going to use your blog to get traffic from Google and search engines. You're going to drive that traffic to a newsletter, to an email list, and then you're going to use that to sell your products and services. It was like a 1-2 punch. I had this concept called a blog sales funnel. I won't go into it now, but what that did is it differentiated me from different other ways of making money from the internet. I wasn't talking about e-commerce or software. I wasn't talking about an agency or selling services. It was using content to sell education products, specifically using a blog and an email newsletter. Now, the plus side of that is certain people who liked that model just ran with it and did well. The downside, certain people would sign up and go, "Oh, I don't want to write this much. Oh, I didn't realize there's so much work to reach people and so much content that needed to be created." So you had people drop off. Now today with my services business, it's a similar thing where sometimes you'll get people who sign up and they love the idea of having an assistant and getting help with their email and their calendar scheduling and other sort of day-to-day operations of their business. Our assistants come in, they start working with them, and it's going okay, but maybe they're feeling some hesitation around our price. We're $2,000 a month as a starting point, and they start thinking maybe I could hire a Filipino virtual assistant for like $10 an hour and get this done for half the price. So sometimes a few people will cancel after month 3, month 6, something like that. Now here's where things get interesting, and this is what happened today. So sometimes that happens, but then maybe 6 months later, maybe a year later, that person will come back. And what has happened in that time frame is they've tried to solve that problem, or they've tried other ways of doing things, and they've realized it's just as hard, if not even more difficult, or the other solutions are actually just terrible and they didn't really appreciate what they were getting from you and your business when they were using it. Now that's fine. It's like a journey this particular customer has to go through. So we had a customer sign back up. In fact, just today as I record this, it's a weekend, they signed up for a plan more than twice the size of the plan they were on back when they were previously a customer or business. And what's happened in that time frame is they've canceled, they've gone and tried to get some sort of solution from probably some other assistants, maybe getting people in the real world, and it's just not worked for them. It's failed for things, and here's the subtle point, it's failed because certain things that we do well that they didn't even realize we do well. It's just kind of like default part of our service. I won't go into details without, I don't want to just describe what my company does, but when you have a system and your business delivers something really well, there'll be these things you just do as part of that system that people don't realize you're doing behind the scenes to make the system work well. And they don't realize it until they go and try and solve this problem in another way, and that other way doesn't have that system. So even more basic things start to fall apart or don't go well. A good example with, say, virtual assistants, we have, that's what my agency is about today. People think, oh, I could get this done by a lower cost overseas staff member. I'm going to hire a Filipino for $1,000 a month instead of paying $2,000 a month, and I'll get them for full time. It's more hours for less money. Why would I use my company, right? So they go and do that, and then they start to try and get this person to do the tasks that we do. And this person just can't do them, makes mistakes, says they can do things and actually can't. There's no onboarding process. The client has to train the person how to do everything from scratch, so it ends up taking them more time than they're actually getting back, which is the whole point of hiring an assistant. So all these little things we're doing behind the scenes, they don't realize that that's what makes our service the level of quality it is and why we charge the higher price. But they have this journey, they go on it, they realize it, and then they come back to us, and then they're really committed. And it's like, okay, give me more. I want to buy the higher price plan. I want more coverage. I'm locked. I understand why this is going to work for me, and this is the best solution. And this happened also with my education business. People would, not, maybe they bought a course, they didn't fully use it, but then they come back and say, you know what? I actually saw this happen a lot because they sign up and they show up on a coaching call, and they hadn't been on a coaching call for like a year, and then there they are again, and they say, you know what? I didn't think this was for me. I went and tried, drop shipping or e-commerce or other business models, and they're like, that is so much more difficult. I don't feel at all like it's going to work, and I now understand why the content model with blogging and email is the best fit for me, and I'm ready to push through the hard work that's required. So now they're re-engaging. Now they're showing up in coaching calls. Now they're taking my course again, and really committing to it, and maybe even buying the next level product or service. So it's interesting to see this happen, and you don't really see this happen until you've built a business that does deliver something of quality to a very specific niche market that solves a very specific problem, and you've got systems and processes and people that are helping deliver that at a higher level quality. So much so that people maybe don't even realize that why your system is as good as it is, because a lot of stuff happens behind the scenes. And two, there's enough time that's gone by where a person maybe has engaged with you, but then for whatever reason left, canceled, or disengaged, tried something else, and then come back. And it's that returning customer that is so much more valuable because now they're locked in, now they're committed, now they understand that your business is the best solution. Now, obviously, you have to work your way up to get to this point. You have to build a solid business, make sure you're going after the right market, get all these processes and people in place. That takes work, but understand that that's what leads to the sustainability. Like both the two businesses I use as examples, my education business I had for 10 years, and it only stopped because I didn't want to continue to be a teacher, coach, and create new product and training all the time. And my current business, an agency now where we've done over $5 million in revenue. It's like year 8 for us now. It's got a lot of history and built up systems and processes and people. Not perfect, but it's got these advantages that do help. And like a day like today, when you got a customer returning who's now spending more than double what they were before, it's just good validation that, there are some people that are the right fit, and they will eventually come to see that your business is the best solution. All right, I'm going to stop there. That's my tip for the weekend. I'm going to pop this onto the podcast, and you'll see it also on my website. Again, this is Yarrow from the Yarrow Podcast. I will talk to you very, very soon.